So let me ask you, if we end up with Hillary Clinton versus Jeb Bush, where's the leadership going to come from when the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poor, the middle class are getting squeezed, too big to fail is getting bigger by the moment, average wages have dropped every year since 1973, you've got billionaires that are paying 14% tax rates, their secretaries are paying 28% tax rates. This, I have said for some time, and you have said it for a lot longer time, I've said this isn't a Republican issue, this isn't a Democratic issue, this is an American issue, and yet I don't see too many people out there other than you talking about this. I don't see Hillary talking about this. I don't see Jeb talking about this.
So I think this is a fight we have to have right this minute. Not in the future, not down the line, but right this minute. And I'll give you some examples. I have a bill right now that's pending to reduce the interest rate on student loans. I think it is obscene that the federal government is making a profit off the backs of kids who have to borrow money to go to college. And my view is you got to be in there and hang in there.
How much money does the federal government make off of those student loans?
Oh, so I'll give you just one cohort of the loans. The loans that went out between 2007 and 2012. We just happen to have good data on those loans. They are on track, after you account for the cost of funds, after you account for the bad debt losses, after you account for the administrative losses, to make $66 billion in profits for the United States government.
Let me ask you today, do you see Hillary Clinton, the presumptive nominee, do you see her fighting on student loans? Do you see her fighting to stand up to Wall Street and say, hey, guess what, guys? You hedge fund managers, you're not going to be paying 14% taxes anymore when your secretaries pay twice as much as far as the rate. Do you see her doing these sort of things that she certainly hasn't shown that she's willing to do in the past?
So look, she hasn't declared yet. She hasn't laid out what she's going to run on, and I think that's what we need to see. But I want to be clear. I think this is what everybody should be talking about, Democrat or Republican.
Will you push her? Will you press her?
Push everybody. Do I not look like I'm going to push?
That's a leading question, and I knew the answer. That's straight out of Matlock. My apologies.
Exactly.
Vika.
I see your intensity here. A lot of people translate that differently, and I think I'm encouraging more women to be like Elizabeth and to be passionate, to be intense, to be engaged. Hey, excuse me, maybe even aggressive about something. And I really appreciate that in you, which is why you're keynoting the April 10th Know Your Value event. Just curious, remember that time Warren Buffett suggested you should be less angry?
Yeah, I did.
And what did you think of that? Because angry, I think, applies too. We can be a little angry sometimes when we're feeling intense without that being a stereotype.
I really want to say, when the largest financial institutions load up on risk, break the economy, get bailed out by the taxpayers, then come back and spend more than $1 million a day in order to fight financial reforms, and then turn around and complain that, oh, there's too much regulation, even though their profits have gone through the roof.
And by the way, let's just talk about Warren Buffett and how well the bailout was of the big banks for Warren Buffett. He invested low. He threw a lot of money into Goldman Sachs. And you know what? If Goldman Sachs had actually had, this is the thing that I still don't understand. And again, I don't think this is a Republican issue. I don't think it is a Democratic issue. I think it's wrong that we as a nation preach the greatness of capitalism to single mothers, and we practice socialism with the biggest banks. And that's what we did. And Warren Buffett made billions of dollars off of that.
What has sitting by gotten us? I'll tell you what it's gotten us. It's gotten more kids mired in debt. I started the student loan fight over a year ago. And do you know what's happened in the last year? More than 1 million new kids are now in trouble on their student loans. There is an additional $100 billion in student loan debt since this fight started. So, should we get amped up on this? Should we be fighting back? You bet we should.
Exactly.
Be
and
back.
Sitting by for women has gotten us less opportunity and less pay. Elizabeth Warren.